Hi everyone and welcome to the Wellington Property Market Update for the month of April. I'm Adam Cockburn at Lowe Co. Let's get into it. So median sale prices, April 2021, 870,000 versus 730,000 for April 2020. Still a big jump of 19%, but if you look at the blue bar graph, the blue histogram there, you can see that actually for the last 2 months, median sale prices, have actually reduced. So back in February, then in March and April, we saw a couple of small drops. Only a little bit, but so broadly speaking, you could say for the last 3 months, our median house prices have been about the same at very high 800s, touching on 900. So pretty interesting. I reckon if we see a fourth month like that, this is definitely a trend that prices are flattening off. If we look at the Real Estate Institute House Price Index, on the other hand, this still shows that the underlying value of houses seems to be rising, albeit at a slower pace. Wellington going faster than the rest of the country, or most of the country, but still at a slower pace. So over the last month, 0.6% across New Zealand, 1.6% in Wellington. But for the last few months previously, we had seen sort of 2% growth per annum, 2 and a bit percent growth, per month. So that 1.6% is definitely a bit lower. If you look out to 3 months, you can see that 9.5% in the last 3 months. So the last 1 month at 1.6 is definitely slowing down a bit. Over the 12 months, of course, that is still absolutely massive at 34.2%, and that is the 4th month in a row that we have beaten the previous record. So for 4 months in a row, Wellington House Price Index over 12 months has set a new record 4 times in a row. So pretty staggering stuff, but it does look, again, like house price growth is flattening off, is slowing down in Wellington. How many new listings are we seeing? We saw in April 2021, 725. Now, if we compare that to April 2020, that's a crazy comparison. That was 103, up 600%, but of course, that was lockdown times. So we really have to throw that out. So we look back at April 2019, 639, so we're still up 13% compared to April 2 years ago. So that's interesting. Everyone's saying there's nothing on the market, but we had 13% more new listings in April than we did in April 2019. So the problem is not that there's not new listings coming on, the problem is that they are selling as fast as they're coming on, or maybe even faster. How many sales are we seeing in the month? Again, if we compare to 2020, that's crazy time. No one can buy a property, or almost no one, in lockdown. So 753 in 2021 in April versus 122 in April 2020. Let's throw that out. Go back to April 2019, 690. So we're up 9% compared to 2 months ago. So if you remember, the number of new listings coming on was up 13% compared to 2 years ago. Number of sales up 9%. Compared to 2 years ago. So are we going to start to see slowly a little bit more property come on the market? 1 month is hardly a trend, but let's see as time unfolds. How long is it taking to sell? Pretty consistent across the board here as what we've been seeing lately. 30 days in April 2021 versus 31 in April 2020. Down 3%, 1 day's difference, hardly statistically significant. Again, if you look at the chart there, you can see that over the last 6 months or so, that red line has dropped right back down again, and it's still hovering around that 28, 29, 30 days on average over the last 6 months or so. So 30 days, still short, but consistent with what we've seen lately and consistent with a year ago. In terms of the amount of supply on the market, in terms of number of weeks worth of supply, we saw back down to 5 weeks in April this year compared to 9 weeks in April 2020 or 10 weeks in April 2019. So definitely a big drop in terms of the number of weeks worth of inventory we've seen on the market in April compared to both the last 2 years. A drop of 44 or 50% compared to, depending on which one you want to look at. And if we compare it just to the last few months, 5 weeks, not all that inconsistent. We've been hovering. We had 4 weeks back in December last year. First time I've ever seen that. Prior to that, we had 3 weeks worth of 6 weeks, 3 months worth of 6 weeks. So we've been hovering around between 4 and 7 weeks worth of inventory on the market for a good long period now. Must be 7 or 8 months now. So It continues to be tight when you compare it to the amount of demand that's happening out there, the number of sales that's taking place. So in April, 5 weeks, it's been a very long time, apart from December last year, that we've seen 5 weeks. Have to go way back to 2016. How many listings are we seeing on Trade Me? Still the same old story. May 2021, that's just of a few days ago, 1,158 across the Wellington region versus 1,634 just a year ago. That is a big drop of 27%. So although these new listings that are coming on the market are at a similar pace to a year ago or 2 years ago, the amount that are being sold is outstripping that, so the number that have left on Trade Me is coming down. It seems we may have hit a bottom here. We might be plateauing. Are we going to see number of listings tick back up again in the next couple of months? Again, only time will tell. That will be very interesting, but certainly for the meantime, very, very low on overall gross listing volumes. Interesting to see. Look, are there any other indicators? We've seen supply, number of new listings coming on, the number of sales that are taking place has carried on as we've been seeing over the last few months or so. So that seems to have had no impact from the government's announcement of 23rd of March this year. Are we seeing anything else on the front line in terms of people's expectations, what people are planning to do? Here's an excerpt from Tony Alexander's Spending Intentions monthly survey, and one of the questions he asks every month is, do you intend to spend more or less on investment property, among many other things. But the interesting thing is, since the government made their announcement in March this year, in April and May, for the first time since the survey started, we are seeing a significant negative intention. So more people fewer people are intending to spend money on investment property, and that is a clear market trend there. So certainly there has been an impact on the way people are thinking about investment property, the way they're viewing investment property, and their plans to purchase more investment property. Does this mean we're going to see reduced demand in the future? Perhaps. So in summary, once again for the fourth month in a row, we've seen the highest 12-month house price index growth in Wellington, huge at 34%, but median house prices have been flat for 3 months. New listings are up compared to 2019, sales volumes are up, but not by as much versus 2019. Duration to sell is lowish and stable. Inventory levels are back down to 5 weeks again. Website listings continue to be very low compared to a year ago. Is the market slowing? It seems there might be some indicators there that it is, that price growth is flattening off. So let's see what the next month or two holds. Thanks so much for checking in. See you next month. It's Adam at Lowe Co.